Burnley against Chelsea, as the Blues face as much of a drastic change in scenery as humanly possible in going from the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam to Turf Moor in Burnley. A tough place to go, an even tougher place to win at, and with the question looming how much Frank Lampard will rotate the team while we're still struggling with injuries. Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues TV for another preview of mine, for another Premier League preview of mine here on this channel as Chelsea take on Burnley away from home tomorrow evening, or tomorrow with the late kickoff at 5:30 PM UK time, and I'm very much so looking forward to it. We're on a 6 wins streak, run, whatever you call it. And you know, we couldn't really ask for much more at the moment. We beat Ajax in midweek. I was there. If you saw the videos there, if you saw the videos about it on the channel, of course, I was absolutely gassed. We were all absolutely gassed. There was absolute limbs and scenes and everything when that goal by PULISIC BATSHUAYI went in, and literally, I could not be happy. And of course, now we're going to another game, trying to make it 7 wins from 7 games. And of course, if you are new to Blues TV, please be sure to subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. Also, make sure you smash the notification bell button so you do receive a notification whenever we do upload a video in the future. Make sure you smash the like button on this video as well. That would be massively appreciated. And of course, leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. And also, you might have noticed, if you've watched any of my videos on this channel or anywhere before, that camera angle is slightly different. So please let me know that in the comment section below whether you like it. I think I might quite like it, although I haven't edited it yet. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But let me know. And yeah, there is enough waffling. And now let's just get into the preview. And of course, as always, starting it off by speaking about our opposition. That, of course, is Burnley. And Burnley currently sit in 8th on 12 points. So 5 points behind ourselves from 9 games with 3 wins, 3 draws and 3 defeats. And a goal difference of +1, scoring 12 and conceding 11, which is 3 less goals than we have conceded, by the way. And to be honest, Burnley are pretty much where I expect them to be in terms of their results anyway. As you can see on screen, you can see them maybe slightly higher up in the league than I expected. But that's more to do with others not performing as well as I thought. Because, you know, if you look at their results, they lost the games you expected them to lose. They lost to Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester. They won games that you expect them to win, I guess, with Norwich, with, you know, poor Everton as well at the time, especially. Maybe didn't see a 3-0 win over Southampton coming, but still it is a game that you know, could certainly foresee them winning. Maybe not 3-0, but generally still. And then they had some expected draws in there, so it kind of really makes sense. And everyone at this point really knows Sean Dyche's, you know, Burnley. You know, 4-4-2, that kind of old school English football. Those 2 up front, always an absolute menace to play against. Even though one of their regulars, Chris Wood, one of their regular strikers, is at the moment facing a late fitness test to even be available for the game tomorrow, while his, I guess, striking partner, Ashley Barnes, the little prick, still not over that tackle on Matic a few years ago, is back from injury, so he's fully in contention to play and start tomorrow, and he always does well against us, so that's not exactly the best piece of news, but I guess we can always hope that Chris Wood doesn't, you know, make it in time, or at least can't start, but only has to, you know, start the game from the bench. That would, of course, be some sort of an advantage for us in that sense, but you know, they're just a really physical side. Everyone knows that they're really well drilled as well, used to digging deep, as they never have more of the ball than their opponent. You know, just never happens. But they get results with it. Otherwise, they would not be 8th and, you know, level on points with Spurs, even though Spurs are, you know, having a mare of a season at the moment. But, you know, still, if Burnley didn't know what they were doing and wouldn't be getting results, they wouldn't be level on points with Spurs and be 8th in the league. And set pieces will really be a problem for us against them, I suspect anyway. They're good at it. And we're not. They have tall players. We have some tall players, but they're really good in that, like I said, physical side. They're really good in the air. Some of their players, a lot of their players, you could say. And that doesn't bode well. But in every other department, except physicality, of course, we're the stronger side. And if we manage to break them down while handling the 2 strike at least to a decent extent, we should be fine in what I expect to be a very, very tricky game. But to be honest, that was really it about Burnley. And now let's get into Mr. Frank Lampard's pre-match press conference, in which he did say a couple of somewhat interesting things today, actually. So let's get into it. Of course, it was again started off by giving us some injury news, which, you know, we always love. At least we always love to know some updates. Loftus-Cheek, of course, is still out. We all know that. And neither of Antonio Rudiger nor N'Golo Kante will be fit for the game tomorrow either. But especially Antonio Rudiger, according to Lampard, is getting a lot closer. You know, he will probably be with the first team and properly playing again in the next 1 or 2 weeks, but he said there is currently no time frame on N'Golo Kante because finally, what I've been asking for weeks, we finally seem to just give him the time to recover completely, recover 100%, and then, you know, be fully fit to go and not pick up another injury every 2 days, basically, which I'm very happy with that, as well as both Andreas Christensen, what is my talking today, and Ross Barkley, who are both also out. Neither of, you know, them are with serious injuries. Neither of them should be much longer until they're back fit. Of course, Christensen is still with a hamstring problem, and Barkley with the ankle problem he suffered against Newcastle last weekend. But everyone else is fit according to Frank Lampard, and that of course includes the likes of Emerson Palmieri, Reece James, who I know they were both on the bench against Ajax anyway, but still, it is good to know that they are all fit. The boss also stated that Christian Pulisic at the moment deserves to start. His performances off the bench just warrant that, and his training as well. But the thing is, he said that others deserve to start as well. But he said it's a problem he enjoys having, and he's also said that he really respects Burnley and expects a very, very tough match, and that they never give any opponent an easy game. And pretty much it's the exact same thing that I said earlier. It will be a difficult match. And lastly, which is not hugely important or hugely like breathtaking news, I guess, but he also did say, Lampard, that we don't know at the moment whether our appeal to the CAS about the transfer ban will allow us to sign players in January. We don't know at this point, obviously, because if we knew, everyone would know. But I guess I thought I'd just put it in there quickly. But that was it from the press conference. And now talking about Chelsea. And, you know, I mentioned it in the intro already. The big question to me today is, will we do that bit of rotation that I think is important, you know, for the team? Will we do it tomorrow, or will we do it on Wednesday against Manchester United in the League Cup? That is, I guess, the bigger question, because you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say a few weeks ago after the draw was made that, you know, he will field a lot of young players against us in that tie rather than going out with their best team. Although maybe their current league position might have changed there because they want to, you know, I guess, you know, save their season in a silly way. Even though, of course, they got a win in the Europa League yesterday, but still, maybe that will have changed his approach to the game. But I'm just really not sure when we will do that bit of rotation, because I think we need it. The other option, I guess, is do some of it tomorrow, do some of it against Man United. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But the lineup that I would personally go for, with a bit of what I think Lampard is going to pick as well in there, is this. Still that mix of a 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 in there that we have been going with recently. Even against Ajax, I was in the ground and I spent a good 5 or 10 minutes of the full 90 just trying to figure out what formation we're actually playing. The one moment it was a 4-3-3, the other moment it was a 4-2-3-1. It literally just keeps changing. So I'm not going to call it either, I'm just going to call it the mix of the two. Of course, Kepa will have to be in goal. The two centre-backs will still have to be Kazuma and Tomori, because none of the others are fit. And as for the fullbacks, it's why I just don't know. I just don't know. I mean, if there is one team that we play against where I might actually think Alonso suits this better than Emerson, it's probably Burnley. Of course, only on the defensive side, but still, you know, that's, if there's one game where I think that, it's this one, simply because Burnley operate with long balls and high balls so much that, you know, Alonso is decent in the air, whether it's attacking the ball or defending the ball, and his height, of course, helps in that sense. So I'm not 100% sure. And even on the other side, Burnley like to do their small little, like, dirty things during games, and that's not a criticism. You know, everyone has their way of playing, and, you know, they do that. Nothing wrong with it, except when Ashley Barnes just absolutely tries to break Match's leg. But I'm not sure if Aspie's experience with dealing that kind of thing isn't so important to have, that I wouldn't go with Reece James, who I really want to see play. I want to see both Emerson and Reece James play, but you know, I'm just really not 100% sure. In the end, I will go Emerson on the left, because I think he'll be able to handle it fine or okay, you know, similar to Alonso defensively, but give us a lot more going forward, which I think will be crucial in trying to break Burnley down. But I will personally stick to Aspie at right back and start Reece James against Manchester United in midweek. I think that will be a good, I guess, compromise between the two. The midfield then will kind of have to remain unchanged, I guess, because I don't see Billy Gilmour starting and everyone else is injured. So Kovacic and Jorginho, of course, 100%. You know, they fully deserve to keep playing as well, even though they might be getting a little bit tired, especially Jorginho, because literally playing every single game. The only small question, I guess, does Lampard start Pulisic against the 10 from the get-go in their 4-2-3-1? But personally, I wouldn't mind it. But I just doubt that he will do that. I doubt that is something he will start with, except against possibly a lower, you know, league opposition, the FA Cup later on in the season. So it kind of has to be Mason Mount that remains in there, who had a decent enough game against Ajax. So, you know, I'm not exactly like angry about it if Mason Mount, you know, starts alongside Kovacic and Jorginho. But for the front three, I would make some changes. I would personally make some changes. I think Pulisic and Michy Batshuayi have done enough to warrant a start, to get a start. Plus, especially Hudson-Odoi, I don't want to overplay him. I really don't want to overplay him. And I definitely don't want to see Pedro start. Don't know why he's not even made the bench recently, but I don't want to see Pedro start. So Hudson-Odoi, I don't want to overplay him after the injury. Of course, he's looked fine. I know that, although he didn't have a good game against Ajax. But I don't want to overdo it with him, you know, with the Achilles. I really don't want to just do it again. I'm just a little bit, you know, cautious for it, I guess. And like I said, Pulisic, in my opinion, deserves that start. So what I would personally do is start Pulisic and Willian tomorrow. Willian, of course, came off, you know, with only an hour played or so against Ajax. Start them to tomorrow, then start with Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi against United in midweek, and then probably go back to Hudson-Odoi and Willian against Watford next weekend, unless Pulisic impresses so much during the week in these next 2 games that he just has to stay in the side. But, you know, other than that, that is kind of what I would do this week. And as for the striker, like I said already, Batshuayi tomorrow is what I would go for, simply because he scored an important win at Ajax. Tammy wasn't the greatest in the last 2 games, was a bit unfortunate against Newcastle not to score, but could have done a little bit better. And Batshuayi comes on and scores an important winner. I think if that doesn't warrant a start, I don't know what does. And also rotation comes into it. You know, I don't just give Abram a rest. It's not like, oh, you're dropped now. Just give him a rest. It's absolutely fine. And then we see how Batshuayi performs. And then, you know, from there, we start thinking about who starts in the next few games, whether that's Man United or Watford next weekend. But yeah, that is my lineup. You can see it on screen as I talk through it, of course. And something that I want to mention is what Lampard said after the Ajax game. He said that the longer a win streak continues, the easier it gets to become complacent. And I thought that was a really good statement. It's not like, you know, the revelation of human, you know, of the human species. Of course it isn't. We really must make sure that we don't let that happen. We don't let it happen that we just get a little bit complacent. We think, oh, we just won at Ajax. You know, of course we're going to be fine against Burnley. Let's not think like that, because, you know, it's not going to be an easy game in the slightest. And we just need to be, like we were at Ajax, and for the most part against Newcastle, we have to be 100% focused for the entire game. Know when to press, know how to press. Give it even more movement, because personally I think that was lacking at parts of both of these last 2 games, that there was just not enough movement. And of course, keep the passing tempo as high as possible, and we will create chances. Plus, Tomori and Zuma, I really need them to be on it. Absolutely need them to be on it to be able to handle, you know, Burnley's front 2. Same as Jorginho and Kovacic, who really need to be really strong in being first to get on the second balls, because that is obviously something else that Burnley do like to work with. And of course, the finishing. Ideally, it would be slightly better than it was against both Ajax and against Newcastle, because, you know, we could have easily scored a lot more goals in those 2 games rather than winning the game 1-0. My score prediction is going to be a 2-1 win. We'll probably concede from a set piece, but I'm confident that we can get the win regardless of that happening and score 2 goals, possibly 3. But to be honest, Burnley are pretty good defensively, conceded less goals than we have so far this season. So I don't think it will be a goal fest in the slightest. My storage just ran out basically, so I had to restart recording the end of the video. So if the angle is slightly different, if the lighting is slightly different, I do apologise, but that is why. But yeah, to be honest, I'm going to leave it there anyway. There wasn't much to re-record, I guess. Of course, like I said in the beginning, if you are new to Blues TV, please be sure to subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. Make sure smash the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future uploads of a future video. Make sure you smash the like button down below. That would be massively appreciated, especially if you made it this far. Just go down below and smash that like button. It really doesn't cost much time at all, but I would massively appreciate it. And of course, you know, leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comments section below. Leave me your score predictions, your predicted lineups, and everything else you have to say. All of it down in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.